Hello everyone, this is week 10 and I thought a short video might help you organize your time this week as you read Valeria Luiselli's book, Tell Me How It Ends. Luiselli's book is our primary document. There's a short primary document at the end of the assignments. It's a summary of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child was crafted in very late, I think it was 2089. All developed countries on the globe ratified these conventions, except the United States. But the good news is judges and anyone in authority, when there is a question about the right to a child, they refer back to the UN document, and that is used as the benchmark for decisions on how to treat a child, especially in immigration court. Now, Valeria Luiselli's book focuses mostly on her experience as an English interpreter in the immigration court in Lower Manhattan during, I believe it was 2015, 2016, as she was an English interpreter for children from Central America. There was a large crush of undocumented children. They were not only undocumented, they were unaccompanied. An unaccompanied child or an unaccompanied minor is a person who is under 18 years of age and travels to this country alone and presents themselves at the border for asylum or for help. Valeria Luiselli would represent these children as their interpreter, take down their story, ask pertinent questions in order to gain, excuse me, in order to gain the information needed for their attorney to present the best case forward for this child to claim asylum. That's our primary document. A secondary document is a summary of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. Now you have two assignments this week. You have the essay on Luiselli's book, Tell Me How It Ends, and the last module in this week's assignments, you will find the Dropbox for this essay. You will craft the essay of 3 to 5 pages. The directions are in the last portion of the assignments this week, and you will upload your paper. The discussion board will be a little bit different. The discussion board will talk about Luiselli's book, but you will also apply some of the tenets or some of the rights of the child from the United Nations to your discussion. Your discussion will look at least 3 areas that children are seen to have rights, global rights, human rights, and you will tell or discuss how you feel these rights were either met or not met by the U.S. government for these children. For instance, education. Did the U.S. government provide education, bilingual education, as a right as seen by the United Nations human rights for the child? Was that met? Yes or no? If not, tell us why not. If not, tell us what the book told you. We're only focused on the book, not on any other area of human rights for children. If the children's rights were met, for instance, they did have access to a bilingual interpreter in the court to help craft their story, put it together so their representation would be as complete as possible. If that was a yes, then provide the evidence for that. That would be in the discussion board. I hope this short description of this week's activities help. One thing I have to tell you is I do know that immigration court, I was there with a little girl from the Young Center a couple years ago when I was a child advocate for immigrant children. The Young Center for Immigrant Children's Rights matches up advocates for children with unaccompanied minors. And I did advocate for a little girl who was 7 years old whose mother drowned in the Rio Grande. She had traveled with her teenage brothers and they presented themselves at, I believe, in Laredo. They eventually ended up in, I believe it was the Bronx. I can't tell you where they were, but they were in foster care, federal foster care. The boys had ankle monitors on, this little girl did not, and then they spent their days at a facility near the Bronx for education. The little girl did get some therapy and she did get some speech therapy. And then in the evening, they went back to the foster home. Eventually, they were reunited with an uncle who lived in Long Island. So that's my personal story with the Office of Refugee Resettlement and an unaccompanied minor, and my accompanying this little girl, an unaccompanied minor, to the immigration court with her bilingual attorney. Okay, if you have any questions, you text me, email me, contact me, and I'll be happy to clear up any questions you may have.